Along with getting new games on Nintendo Switch 2, we're also going to be getting, I guess, remastered versions of Nintendo Switch games with Nintendo Switch 2 Edition games. Nintendo Switch 2 Edition games are essentially paid, enhanced versions of Nintendo Switch games, but to make that price point a bit more worth it, there is additional content, whether it be something small like the Zelda apps and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 editions, or what is essentially DLC in Mario Party Jamboree and Kirby the Forgotten Land. As of right now, we know of a total of 6 Nintendo Switch 2 Edition games, which are The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Super Mario Party Jamboree, Pokemon Legends ZA, Kirby the Forgotten Land, and Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. I don't think it's gonna stop there. I think that Nintendo is gonna roll out more Nintendo Switch 2 Edition games throughout the entirety of the Nintendo Switch 2's life. Because of that, I figured why not speculate a little early and go over 5 games that I think could get the Nintendo Switch 2 Edition treatment, as well as what I think they could add. With that being said, I'm the biggest nub on YouTube, Cristendo, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like it and subscribe to the channel as it helps me out a ton. In my last video, we got a total of 2 new subscribers to the channel, so let's see if we could top that with this video. While you're at it, if you want to talk to me and others about all things Nintendo, consider joining the ChrisCore Discord server. The link is down in the description. Now let's get into our first Nintendo Switch 2 Edition game, which is Super Mario Bros. Wonder. I feel like out of all the games, this one is the most likely, as when Nintendo announced which Switch games are getting free enhanced versions, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe was on there, but Super Mario Bros. Wonder isn't. I feel like with this game, they're gonna add some new worlds, maybe like 1 to 3, where the levels are either like remixed versions of previous levels that are harder, or just new harder levels for you to experience. Maybe even some of the Wonder effects could incorporate the mouse functionality on the Joy-Cons, where let's say one of the Wonder effects has you turn into a plane, and you're kind of doing like a top-down 2D shooter as a plane, and you control your movement with the mouse. I think that'd be pretty cool. But regardless, I feel like that Super Mario Bros. Wonder is super likely to get a Nintendo Switch 2 Edition game, and with that, I definitely feel like we're gonna get at least a couple worlds. The next game, or I guess game series I could see, is the Xenoblade series. I'm just gonna group them all together because all the Xenoblade games I feel like deserve Nintendo Switch 2 editions. When it comes to these games, I feel like that what is most likely to happen is that obviously they're gonna get upscaled and they're gonna look so much better than they already do, and they look great. But on top of that, I feel like that adding the DLC on the cartridge, which they for some reason didn't do with Breath of the Wild, which is a whole thing on its own. But having the DLC included on the cartridge, especially for like Xenoblade 3, could definitely make this the definitive way to play the Xenoblade games. I don't really know what else they could do outside of adding the DLC on the cartridge for these Switch 2 editions. So because of that, I think if we were to get, say, a Xenoblade 3 Switch 2 edition game, it would more than likely include the future redeemed DLC on the cartridge. Moving into the next game, we have Splatoon 3. What could they add in this version? I feel like it's gonna be kind of like how Metroid Prime 4 Beyond Switch 2 edition is being treated, where it's essentially going to be a better version of the game, but this time it'll also allow you to use the mouse Joy-Cons as a way of controlling the game, which I feel like, especially when they do Splatoon 4 later on in the console's life, they're going to incorporate. And I feel like that using Splatoon 3 as a way to test the waters and see how people react to it would be a good way to do this. Obviously, just like other Switch 2 editions, this will have better frame rate and will look a lot better, and maybe they can even include the side order DLC on here as well. That'd be kind of sick. Next up, we have Pikmin 4. When it comes to Pikmin 4, I feel like that a lot of people wanted DLC for this game and it just never got it. So I think adding basically what is DLC to the game with the Switch 2 edition would definitely satisfy a lot of Pikmin fans as they wait 15 more years for Pikmin 5. On top of that, I think it'd be kind of cool if you can kind of guide your Pikmin with the mouse cursor as there is already a way to do that with the gyro. So being able to do this with the cursor as well would definitely be a welcomed addition to Pikmin 4. And for the 5th and final game that I want to talk about in this video, we got a game I'm not super fond of, which is Nintendo Switch Sports. This game was definitely really underwhelming in terms of what it brought, as it only brought a couple of sports, and we got drip-fed 2 more sports over a course of 3 years, which is kind of ridiculous. I feel like that with Switch Sports, there's definitely potential in adding new content with it. I think the best way they can go about this is doing kind of a Switch Sports Resort and including it here in this version. And with that, obviously, you'll have the better frame rates, the better graphics, but on top of that, you can maybe even get like double the amount of sports that were in the base game. game. Maybe we can get a whole like 6 sports, and maybe they somehow use like the camera accessory or even the Joy-Con mouse, even though that kind of goes against how Switch Sports functions. I just think there's a lot of potential, especially with the Switch 2 camera and how they can incorporate that into Switch Sports. So I can definitely see a Switch Sports Switch 2 edition happening. And with that, that's 5 games I could see or want to see getting Switch 2 editions. If there's any games that you want to see that I didn't cover in the video, please let me know down in the comments and tell me what you would like to see in those games, as I think it would be interesting to kind of do a follow-up video on this and kind of go over your ideas for Switch 2 edition game. With that said, that's all I really have for this video, but if you want to see another video by me, there's a video on screen now where I go over 10 features that I think the Switch 2 needs, and I think you'll enjoy that video. With that being said, I'm the biggest nub on YouTube, Cristendo, signing off, and as always, goodbye, Nub Nation.